Willow blinked, disoriented. One moment she was in her small, cluttered apartment in her old world, nursing a cup of lukewarm coffee. The next, she was standing in the middle of a grand, sunlit living room, draped with expensive furnishings, massive floor-to-ceiling windows, and an aura of wealth that made her heart race. She looked down at herself. Her hands were slender, manicured, and wore delicate rings she didn't own. Her reflection in a polished mirror showed a woman she didn't recognize. Long, flowing hair, designer clothes, the face of a perfect heroine from a romance drama she'd once read. "Where am I?" Willow whispered to herself. Her voice sounded different too, softer, more refined. Before she could think further, a sharp, commanding voice echoed from the doorway. "And who might you be?" A tall, impeccably dressed man with piercing eyes walked toward her. Every step he took radiated authority, a CEO aura that made the air itself feel tense. I think I'm supposed to be someone else," Willow stammered, heart pounding. The man raised an eyebrow. "In my house, you must be mistaken." Willow realized then. She had transmigrated into a novel, a full-fledged American drama filled with CEOs, scheming relatives, and complicated love stories. And the life she now inhabited belonged to a woman whose family was wealthy, her future a tangled web of romance, betrayal, and revenge. Her first thought, survive. Her second thought, figure out who she was supposed to be and whether she could navigate this world without being crushed by its opulence or its dangers. But deep down, Willow felt a thrill she couldn't deny. This was the kind of life she'd always secretly imagined in her novels. High stakes, high drama, and maybe, just maybe, a love worth fighting for. Willow's first full day in her new life began with chaos. She was supposed to be Willow Harrington, the youngest daughter of the Harrington dynasty, a family that controlled half the city's corporate empire. Her older sisters, Victoria and Celeste, were perfection personified, poised, beautiful, cunning, and they did not like competition. Breakfast was a battlefield. The dining room was filled with golden sunlight, gleaming silverware, and her sisters' piercing stares. "Look who decided to join us," Victoria said, her voice dripping with faux sweetness. "I hope you know how to behave, Willow." Celeste sipped her coffee slowly, eyes narrowing. "After all, Daddy's company is at stake. We wouldn't want accidents happening because of inexperience." Willow swallowed hard. She didn't know the family dynamics yet, but the hostility was obvious. She felt her pulse quicken, realizing that surviving in this world required more than charm, it required strategy. Just as she was about to retreat, a man appeared in the doorway, a different man from yesterday, yet no less commanding. He looked at her with a mix of curiosity and mild irritation. "You must be the new heiress," he said, a hint of sarcasm in his tone. "I'm Ethan Moore, the company's COO. I'll be keeping an eye on you. Don't embarrass yourself or the family." Willow's heart skipped. He was everything she had read about in her favorite romance dramas. Handsome, cold, intimidating, yet strangely magnetic. She realized then that she had two choices. Shrink and try to survive under her sister's shadow. Rise, fight, and make her mark, no matter what it took. Willow clenched her fists under the table. She had always been a survivor in her old life. Now, in a world of wealth, power, and dangerous charm, she would need to be unstoppable. Little did she know, the first battle had already begun, and it involved more than just her sisters. Willow spent the afternoon exploring the sprawling Harrington estate, trying to familiarize herself with her new life. Every hallway seemed to whisper secrets, every painting hinted at power, and every door seemed to hide a scandal waiting to explode. As she wandered into the garden, she saw him again, Ethan Moore. This time he wasn't imposing, but thoughtful. He was leaning against a marble fountain, arms crossed, watching the water ripple. "You're everywhere," Willow said, trying to sound casual, though her heart thumped loudly. Ethan smirked. "I have to make sure you don't make any mistakes. The family isn't exactly forgiving." Willow hesitated. Most people in this world were either charming snakes or dangerous wolves. Yet something in Ethan's tone suggested he could be an ally if she played her cards right. "Then maybe you should teach me," she said boldly. I don't plan to fail. Ethan's smirk softened slightly. Bold, I like that, but bold doesn't survive long here. Maybe I'm not planning to survive, Willow countered, meeting his gaze. Maybe I'm planning to win. For the first time, Ethan's eyes showed a glimmer of respect. Careful, he warned. The Harrington sisters won't go easy on you, and neither will the people outside this house who want what your family has. Willow felt a shiver run down her spine. Danger, intrigue, romance, this world had it all, and she was standing right in the middle of it. But for the first time, she felt alive. And she had a dangerous ally by her side. The first real test came sooner than Willow expected. That evening, the Harringtons hosted a grand gala, a glittering affair filled with business tycoons, socialites, and media vultures. Willow felt like a deer in headlights as she navigated the crowd, her designer gown heavy on her shoulders, her pulse racing. Victoria and Celeste didn't miss a beat. They whispered behind her back, exchanging glances that promised mischief. Darling, be careful with your words tonight, Victoria said sweetly, though her eyes were sharp as daggers. Some people in this room don't tolerate mistakes. Willow nodded, masking her nerves with a smile. She knew better than to confront them directly, yet. The first trap came when a famous journalist approached, asking Willow about her father's next big merger. Willow, unprepared, accidentally gave an offhand comment about a confidential deal. Flashbulbs went off, whispers spread. Victoria and Celeste smirked, sipping champagne as their sister stumbled under scrutiny. Willow's cheeks burned with humiliation, but before panic could take over, Ethan appeared. Relax, he murmured, guiding her away from the journalists. They're trying to trap you. You have to think 3 steps ahead always. Willow's mind raced. She realized she wasn't just facing jealous sisters. She was walking into a battlefield where every word, every gesture could be used against her. That night, as Willow sat alone in her lavish bedroom, she made a vow. She would not be their pawn. She would not be humiliated. And she would find a way to turn betrayal into justice. A slow, determined smile curved her lips. The game had just begun. The next morning, Willow received an unexpected message. A private meeting with Ethan Moore in the company's sleek glass-walled office downtown. Walking into the towering skyscraper, Willow felt a mix of awe and intimidation. The office smelled of expensive leather and polished wood, a kingdom ruled by strategy and power. Ethan was already there, arms crossed, eyes studying her like a general sizing up a soldier. You've got potential, he said bluntly. But potential isn't enough. You need skill. I can help you if you're willing to play the game. Willow tilted her head, curiosity piqued. What kind of game? The kind that decides who survives in the Harrington Empire, he said. Your sisters, competitors, even investors, they'll all test you. You make one wrong move and you're finished. I'll teach you how to protect yourself and how to fight back. Willow's heart pounded. She had never imagined she'd receive a personal crash course in corporate warfare from a CEO himself. And what do you get out of it? She asked, suspicious. Ethan smirked. Let's just say I like a challenge, and you're interesting. Willow felt heat rise to her cheeks. Interesting, dangerous, attractive, probably all 3. As the meeting ended, Ethan handed her a sleek tablet filled with company secrets, schedules, and strategies. Learn fast, he said, because your sisters won't wait for you to catch up, and neither will life. Willow left the office feeling a rush of adrenaline. This was more than just survival. This was her chance to prove herself, to claim her place, and maybe even find a love worth fighting for. That evening, Willow returned to the mansion determined to strategize. But as she passed the study, she noticed a folder left carelessly on her father's desk. Curiosity overpowered caution. She opened it. Inside were documents revealing a secret she had never known. A hidden branch of the family company, investments made without the sisters' knowledge, and letters suggesting that someone in the family had been betraying the Harrington legacy for years. Her hands trembled. Could this be leveraged against her sisters, or was it evidence of something even more dangerous, someone plotting to destroy the family from within. Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft voice behind her. "You're digging into dangerous territory," Ethan said, appearing in the doorway without a sound. "Some secrets are meant to stay buried, but some can be weapons." Willow's mind raced. Weapons. That was exactly how she would survive here. And maybe, just maybe, turn the tables on the sisters who had made her life miserable from day one. Ethan stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I can guide you, but this world won't forgive mistakes. Trust me, Willow. The moment you hesitate, they'll strike." Willow's pulse quickened. Trust him. Could she? Or was this just another game she was being pulled into? She took a deep breath, gripping the folder. One thing was certain. She wasn't just going to survive this world. She was going to rewrite it. And with Ethan by her side, the possibilities suddenly felt endless. The next day, Willow decided it was time to test the waters. Armed with the information from her father's desk and Ethan's guidance, she confronted her sisters during a private family lunch. Victoria raised an eyebrow as Willow entered the dining room with quiet confidence. Celeste's smile was sharp, as though she had anticipated this moment. "I think it's time we talked," Willow said, placing the folder on the table. "I know what you've been hiding. I know who's been sabotaging the family, and I know what needs to change." Victoria laughed, a low, venomous sound. "Oh, really? And what do you plan to do about it, little sister?" Willow smiled faintly. "I plan to make sure justice is served, and that the Harrington legacy is protected." Celeste's expression darkened. "You think you can challenge us? You're just a child playing at a game you don't understand." Willow's pulse quickened, but she didn't back down. "Maybe I am a child, but even children can win when they know the rules and the secrets." Victoria and Celeste exchanged a worried glance. For the first time, Willow saw the uncertainty flicker in their perfect masks. Ethan appeared in the doorway just then, his presence commanding and protective. "Willow's right. The family isn't just about appearances. It's about power, loyalty, and knowing when to strike." The sisters recoiled slightly at his words, a rare crack in their facade. Willow realized then that with Ethan's guidance, she could not only survive but fight back and win. The first strike had been made. And the game of love, power, and revenge was just beginning. Willow knew she couldn't fight her sisters alone. That night, she met Ethan in a quiet corner of the mansion's sprawling library. The firelight flickered across the polished shelves, casting shadows that seemed to whisper conspiracies. "We need allies," Willow said firmly. "I can't take on Victoria and Celeste by myself, and there's more going on behind the scenes than just sibling rivalry." Ethan leaned back, studying her with an unreadable expression. "Agreed, but alliances are tricky. People will switch sides if it benefits them. You need to choose carefully." Willow nodded. She had already noticed subtle cues. The family's personal assistant, a few loyal employees, even her father's old friend. All could be potential allies if approached correctly. "We start small," Ethan advised. "We gather information, we protect what's ours, and then we strike." Willow's heart raced. She was ready for the challenge, ready to fight for her place in this high-stakes world. But there was something else, too, something she hadn't anticipated. Ethan's gaze lingered on her, sharp yet warm. "And Willow, remember, in this game, danger comes in many forms. Not everyone you trust will stay loyal, and not everyone you meet is what they seem." Willow swallowed hard. Danger, betrayal, love, and power. Her new life was a delicate balance of all these forces. But for the first time, she felt a surge of determination. She wasn't just a pawn in this story. She was ready to become the queen. The next morning, Willow decided to take a walk outside the mansion to clear her mind. The sun bathed the city in golden light, but the beauty of the streets did little to calm her racing thoughts. She was plotting, strategizing, and thinking about the next move against her cunning sisters. As she rounded a corner near a quiet cafe, she collided with someone. Coffee splashed, papers fluttered to the ground, and she looked up to see a man she hadn't met before. "I'm so sorry," Willow exclaimed, kneeling to gather the scattered papers. The man bent down to help, his smile disarming. "No harm done. Are you okay?" Willow glanced at him, tall, charming, with eyes that seemed to read right through her. A strange feeling stirred in her chest. "I'm fine," she said, though her heart was still racing. "I guess I wasn't paying attention." He chuckled. "Looks like you've got a lot on your mind. If you ever need help navigating this city, or someone to watch your back, I'm your guy." Willow felt a flicker of curiosity, and maybe caution. Who was he really? Was he a friend, a foe, or just another complication in her already tangled life? As she walked back to the mansion, she realized that in a world of CEOs, betrayals, and high-stakes drama, trust was a rare commodity. And yet, sometimes, the most unexpected encounters could change everything. The Harringtons were hosting another gala, bigger, flashier, and far more dangerous than the last. Willow knew it wasn't just a social event. It was a battlefield disguised in glittering gowns, champagne flutes, and flashing cameras. Victoria and Celeste had clearly been planning something. Their smiles were sharp, their eyes predatory. Willow could sense the tension radiating from them as soon as she entered the ballroom. Ethan appeared at her side, whispering, "Stay focused. Tonight isn't about appearances, it's about survival and strategy." The night unfolded like a dangerous chess game. Investors whispered, deals were made in hushed tones, and Willow spotted subtle maneuvers from her sisters to discredit her in front of the board. Then a familiar figure appeared, the man from the cafe. He moved through the crowd like he belonged, offering assistance in subtle, calculated ways. Willow realized that he wasn't just a random stranger, he could be an ally, or a threat. Victoria caught sight of him and stiffened. Celeste's smile faltered. Willow's heart skipped. Clearly, her sisters were hiding something, and this man's presence was proof. As the evening climaxed with a tense toast from the patriarch, Willow felt a surge of confidence. With Ethan guiding her, and new potential allies by her side, she could play this game and turn the tide in her favor. But the night wasn't over. Secrets would surface, betrayals would strike, and Willow would have to make choices that could change everything, including her heart. After the gala, Willow returned to the mansion exhausted but exhilarated. Her mind raced with strategies, alliances, and the subtle hints of betrayal she'd witnessed. But amid the chaos, one thought refused to leave her: Ethan. He had been by her side all night, guiding her, protecting her, and somehow making the impossible feel possible. But there was more in his gaze, something unspoken, something that tugged at her heart. The next morning, Ethan approached her in the mansion's sunlit kitchen. "You handled yourself well last night," he said, handing her a cup of coffee. "But there's more coming. Victoria and Celeste won't forget being embarrassed in front of the board. They'll retaliate, and they'll do it ruthlessly." Willow met his eyes, her own determination reflected there. "Then we'll be ready. They may have the experience, but we have the truth, and the element of surprise." Ethan's lips curved into a rare, almost gentle smile. "I like your spirit, Willow. Just don't let your heart get tangled in this game. Feelings complicate everything." Willow felt a strange warmth at his words. Her heart did flutter, but she pushed the thought aside. She couldn't afford distractions, not now, not with the stakes so high. Yet, as she left the kitchen and looked out over the city skyline, she realized that love and danger were often two sides of the same coin. And that maybe, just maybe, the man guiding her through this deadly game could also be the one changing her heart. Willow thought she had seen it all, but nothing could have prepared her for the revelation waiting in the boardroom. Ethan had arranged a private meeting, and as she stepped inside, she noticed Victoria and Celeste already there. Their expressions were carefully controlled, but Willow could feel the storm behind their eyes. "You've caused quite a stir, little sister," Victoria said, her tone cold. "You think you can expose us and walk away unscathed?" Willow held the folder from her father's desk tightly, revealing the damning evidence of their schemes. "I'm not walking away. I'm making sure justice is served. The company, the family, it's all on the line, and I won't let you destroy it for your own gain." Celeste's smile twisted into something darker. "Do you really think you can beat us at our own game?" Before Willow could respond, Ethan stepped forward. Actually, she can, because she's not alone. At his signal, several key allies emerged. Employees loyal to Willow, investors aware of Victoria and Celeste's misdeeds, and even a few family friends who had been quietly observing. The sisters' eyes widened in shock. The betrayal they thought they had hidden so well had been exposed, and Willow now held all the power. "You underestimated me," Willow said, her voice steady and calm. "And that was your mistake." For the first time, the balance of power had shifted. Willow wasn't just surviving, she was winning. The mansion was quiet after the storm of revelations. Willow stood in the grand balcony, the city lights twinkling below like stars she could almost touch. Victory tasted sweet, but it was bittersweet. She had reclaimed her power, exposed her sisters, and ensured justice, but her heart was unsettled. Ethan appeared quietly beside her, his presence familiar yet electric. "You did well today," he said softly. "You didn't just survive, you thrived." Willow turned to him, feeling the weight of the moment. "I couldn't have done it without you. You believed in me when everyone else doubted me." He looked down at her, eyes intense and unwavering. "Willow, I've been holding back something I shouldn't have, but I can't hide it anymore. I care about you, more than I should, more than I expected." Willow's heart skipped, her pulse raced. She had felt the connection, the unspoken tension, but hearing it out loud made her world shift. "I care about you too," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "But this world, it's dangerous. I can't promise it'll be easy." Ethan smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Nothing worth having ever is, but we face it together and we'll make it through, I promise." As they stood there, the city stretching infinitely below them, Willow realized that she had found not just power and justice, but a love that was as fierce and unyielding as the challenges she had overcome. With the sisters' schemes exposed and the board backing Willow, the Harrington empire was finally stable. Victoria and Celeste were forced to step back, their influence diminished, their arrogance checked. The media praised Willow's courage, her intelligence, and her grace under pressure. In the boardroom, Willow presented a plan that not only secured the company's future, but also ensured that those who had acted dishonestly were held accountable. Employees, investors, and family allies watched in awe as she navigated the complex negotiations with the poise of a seasoned CEO. Ethan stood by her side, his pride unmistakable. "You've done it," he said quietly. "You didn't just survive, they can't touch you now." Willow smiled, a mixture of relief and triumph flooding through her. Justice wasn't just served, it was undeniable. The sisters had learned that cunning and cruelty could never outweigh truth and strategy. That evening, as Willow walked through the mansion, she noticed the subtle changes, the air of respect from staff, the quiet nods of approval from her father, the absence of tension that had once clouded the hallways. Her life had changed. She had not only claimed her place in the family, but had also carved out her own identity, strong and unyielding. And at the heart of it all, by her side, was Ethan, the man who had become her partner in both strategy and love. The morning sun poured through the Harrington estate, golden and warm. Willow stood on the balcony, overlooking the city she now not only belonged to, but had shaped. The battles, betrayals, and challenges had all led to this moment. She felt stronger, wiser, and finally at peace with her place in the world. Ethan joined her, handing her a cup of coffee. "Good morning, CEO," he teased, though his eyes were filled with admiration. Willow laughed softly. "Good morning, partner. It feels surreal. All the chaos, all the drama, and yet here we are." He took her hand, squeezing it gently. "We faced it together, every betrayal, every challenge, every danger, and we came out stronger, not just the company, us too." Willow smiled, leaning into him. "I never imagined my life could change so completely. From an ordinary world to this, it's like a dream." Ethan grinned. "Then let's make it the best dream possible." The mansion buzzed with life in the distance, family, allies, and employees moving forward with renewed purpose. Willow realized that she had not only found justice, but had also built a family and a future that was truly her own. And as she stood there with Ethan, hand in hand, she knew this was just the beginning, a life of love, power, and adventure. A life where she would no longer be a pawn, but a queen of her own story. For Willow, the American drama had turned into something even more extraordinary. A story of courage, love, and a future she could finally call her own. The end.